Hey guys, we've got one heck of an update this week, so I'm going to tell you a bit about it. So I have had some bases in my shop from a mill called Echo View Fiber Mill, which was in North Carolina. They have been great bases. I was going to continue carrying them, but sadly last year the mill closed, so those bases aren't going to be available anymore. I had a small hoard of some yarn from them, and I was kind of hanging on to it, trying to decide what I wanted to do with it. So I also had a bunch of empty dye jars, just left over from dyeing. You know, when the jar is empty, there's still an amount of dye left in them. You can just throw them away, but you know what? You can also fill them up with water and use them. So what I did was combine the yarn that won't be available again and the dye that I will not be able to recreate, and I have made a shop update surrounding that. So this is only applicable to some of the yarn. All of the speckled colorways that are new to the shop are the ones that are completely one of a kind, and I couldn't recreate them if I tried because they're basically from, I took some dye jars, I mixed them together. I didn't even know what they were going to look like on the yarn. We poured it on and then we saw what happened. So for this update, I also wanted to give early access, and the people who are supporting my coffee membership have been able to shop since Monday, July 31st. Everybody else will be able to shop on August 3rd, on Thursday. If you don't know what coffee is, I'll leave the link to my coffee subscription in the description box. I have 3 different tiers. The 3 tiers are called Forest Floor, Understory, and Canopy. With all 3 of those tiers, you'll have early access to shop updates. You will have access to my Discord chat server, which I will say, I'll leave the link to my Discord in the description as well. Everybody is able to access the Discord, but members will have a chat thread that is only for the members, and they will have voting power. When I want to collect some opinions on colors, designers, patterns, events, anything to do with whatever that I would like some outside input on, members will be able to weigh in on that. So that is available to all 3 of the tiers, and then the next 2 tiers will also get an exclusive code for 20% off the shop, off their whole order. It's only going to be able to be used under their own login, but they can use it as many times as they want to. And then the highest tier allows me to contribute some of their donation towards my community-funded yarn support program, which I will link also in the description. The community-supported yarn, or what is it? Community-funded yarn support? Yes, that one. Community-funded yarn support is, so if you have a few extra dollars in your yarn budget to donate, I think there are a lot of people who could use a subsidy or the full coverage of the cost of yarn. So there are plenty of people who are knitters who deserve to knit with things that are nicer, but may not be able to afford it for a multitude of reasons, whether they're on a fixed income or they are some sort of intersection of society that is marginalized in some way, or however else they deem that they could use some support. So a lot of us have a few extra dollars to donate. A lot of us could use a few extra dollars for some yarn budgeting. So we are matchmaking those people. So all the links for that are in the description. So anyway, the top tier allows me to donate some of that into the pool of funds for the people who need some yarn. And then also in the top tier, whenever I have new merch coming to the shop, the people in the top tier will be able to get an item of new merch for free. They get to choose what it is. Like if I have, let's say I'm having mugs and there's some colors of them, they can choose their color of mug and I'll say, great, I'm gonna send it to you free of charge. So that's the top tier. Oh, I didn't mention yet that all of the yarn from Echo View Fiber Mill that is in this update, you won't be able to access unless you're a coffee member right now, and right now it is really heavily discounted. Don't forget to subscribe to not only my YouTube channel, but to my mailing list. If you're following me on Instagram, that algorithm isn't going to show you anything. If you're following me on YouTube, I may take some time off. What is guaranteed to get to you, as long as it's not going to your spam folder or your junk folder, is an email from me. So all you have to do is sign up. You're just going to hear about stuff that's new and offers and stuff. I'm not going to like tell you that I saw a butterfly. I mean, I might, but it won't be exclusively because of that. So we got some really great speckled one-of-a-kind colorways. I also had people pop into my Discord and help me name them, so that was nice. And then I also was playing around with some jewel tones, which was a lot of fun. I had some dye formulas that I wasn't sure what they were going to look like at different concentrations, so I played around with them, and this is what came out, and I really love them. Being the witch who lives in a forest or whatever, I really like super dark and moody colors. I played around with a bunch of shades of black, so that was a lot of fun, and I love every single one of them. So I'm trying to figure out how my physical body can make a sweater in every single one of these colors. I will report back on that, how that's going to go for me. I've taken pictures of some groupings of colorways from this update so you can see them in families. So this is the reds and pinks. Echinacea, peppercorn, foxglove, coral, and dark room are all semi-solids. So to compare the semi-solids to colorways that I've had in the shop previously, Red Brick Road, Mauve, and Briar Rose are colorways that have already been established in my shop. Missing in this lineup of reds and pinks, I wish I had terracotta in here to compare, but I didn't have any dyed up, so you just have to use your imagination, I guess. So you can see the new colors: dark room, peppercorn, echinacea, foxglove, and coral, how those match up to my existing reds and pinks. And then I have some that would fall basically pretty squarely in the orange colorway or color family: coral, regal moth, and caramelized. And to compare them, this is basically all the things that you could call orange in my shop. So poppy, briar rose, October, and mustard are the ones that have been established in my shop. And coral, regal moth, and caramelized are the new ones. I totally thought caramelized and mustard were going to look a lot more similar than they do, but caramelized actually ended up looking more similar to October. But they look a lot more distinct in person. I can say that about every single colorway. Everything looks more distinct in person. Here you may be asking yourself why I have 4 of the same colorway and I named them 4 different things. So these are 4 distinct color combination formulas, and I wanted to see if they would look different at this concentration. And some of them are so close to each other that you could use them in the same sweater, and as long as you alternated skeins, nobody would know that they were 2 different colorways. So I really liked the first one here, caramelized, so that's gonna be a color that I can work with, that one. And then the other 3 were so similar to each other, and they were a little bit too yellowy, that I didn't love so much. So we just called them caramel dupes 1, 2, and 3. And then if you want to look at them compared to everything else that's like yellowy and orangey in the shop, so October and mustard there on the ends, and then sand and honey I threw in there because they're much lighter in terms of depth of shade. Sorry, a hummingbird just flew up and said hi to me. It was so cute. Anyway, so sand and honey are a much lighter depth of shade, but if you were wondering where these colorways fell on the concentration compared to those, that's where they're at. They're much more saturated. So here are the blues and teals. Ocean Mist is really the only speckled colorway that was in the blue and teal family. So if we want to compare all of these blues and teals to ones that are existing in my shop, you can see that I have a sweater whip that is laying down behind all these skeins of yarn, and that is being knit with the colorway Tempest. So you can see that's much more of a true blue than everything else. And then on the left side you can see Pitch. That is my black colorway, but it does have some like brownie undertones, even though it is my black colorway. And you can see it compared with Inkwell. If you were looking at Inkwell, it's like so dark blue that some people might just mistake it entirely for black. So I wanted to show the difference between Pitch and Inkwell. And then Inkwell next to Brizo, you can tell that they are a little bit different. Brizo is a little bit more blue. It's still very dark, like a navy. You can tell that it's much darker than Tempest, but it's more blue than Inkwell. And then next to that is Slate. It's pretty much self-explanatory. It's like, you know, a grayish, bluish, very cool color. And then next to it is Labradorite, which is my dark teal. I wanted to show that next to Interrupta, which is a really bright aquamarine-y color. I named it for, there are some mushrooms that are that like hot turquoise color. So one of the genus, species, whatever it is, of mushrooms is Interrupta, something or another. And then Aegean, is that how you say it? I have no idea. Aegean. So I think that's like a tropical island or cluster of islands or a sea or something. I'm really good at knowing things, guys. Anyway, it's that just really clear blue tropical beach watercolor. So here are all my purples that are new. We've got Balsamic, Logwood, Haze, and Mixology. You can tell that Haze and Mixology, while they're both purple, they're very different purples from each other. And then I have them lined up next to, I wanted to compare it, Balsamic specifically with Pitch, just to show the difference, like how dark Balsamic is, but to show that it is much more colorful than just black, and that Balsamic is a much different color than Galaxy, even though looking at it you may not think so initially. And I put Pewter next to Pitch because I just wanted to show the shading. Pewter is my, you know, charcoaly gray colorway. Just wanted to show the depth of shade for all of these. And Logwood, I named that because I have some yarn dyed by my friend Christina. Hi Christina! She dyed it with actual logwood, and it is literally the exact same color as this. So we're just gonna call it Logwood. How about that? So anyway, you're not too late to sign up for my coffee membership and check out the community funded yarn support page. Anyway, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye!